All right, going live now. Breaking news, you guys. I just got a notification on my phone. Notification from Amazon. My mustard is 10 stops away. I will not be mustardless anymore. I'm so effing excited. Mustard is on its way.
What a great way to start a show.
Congratulations.
Very exciting stuff.
I just want to say I'm so proud of you, Brian.
Dude.
I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it.
And I think this proves that GAMESCAST is not episodic. It's actually got arcs. There's story arcs. You know, when Star Trek started doing story arcs, everybody was like, oh, it's not episodic anymore. That's what just happened. We got this end of the mustard era.
And it ended on a happy note. Ended everybody.
Yeah, five people were very pleased with the way this ended.
Nice. All right, let's start the show.
Yeah.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live, PSVR Mustard Live, horseradish mustard, the only answer. Although I did look up wasabi mustard. We'll talk about that maybe another time.
Same thing.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. We have to talk about that. My name's Brian Powell from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and the guys from right, the boys, Dave from Dave Station,
Sorry, that was just me turning you down.
I'll turn you down.
Viva
I'll turn you down every chance I get. And that guy on the right-hand side of the screen is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian, Dave, Game Cats? Happy Monday. I know Mondays usually suck, but hopefully we can make it suck just a little bit less.
If we can make it suck a little bit more, that could be a thing, I guess. I don't know. After I turn Dave down, anything's a possibility. I want to give a shout out to Jeffy Condile. Give us a $5 tip hours and hours ago. Really appreciate you guys. As if Jeffy Condile is a team of people. We also want to give a shout out to Jamie out with a $2 tip. Says, guys, help. Rye Pop drank fish oil and now is a merman.
Oh, wow. Is that how that works?
I mean,
okay.
That's how inside jokes work. And if you don't understand what's going on, then even if you're on our Discord, like, it's still a very small percentage of the population that has any idea what that's all about. So thank you very much, Jay, for supporting the channel. Thank you guys for being here. Dave and AJ, thank you for being here. But also thank you all the cats out there for being here. You guys are awesome. Very, very exciting week. Obviously, the long journey of Alvo, starting back in 2017, is finally coming to an end, or a natural continuation, I suppose, once the game is out. That thing is out in Australia now. Will be out supposedly at midnight tonight for the rest of the world. So very, very exciting. We're going to talk all about that for the rest of the show. But guys, first and foremost, make sure you click that link in the description. Join our Discord, because that's where we hang out. That's where this conversation happens 24/7. That's where all the coolest cats are. And if you don't think you're cool enough to be there, well, then don't click the link. That's all I can say. Guys, there's not really much else as far as housekeeping is concerned. So my question for you is, should we dive right in and talk about Alvo?
Well, AJ, first let's talk about this Alvo thumbnail. You want to do that? What do you think about this thumbnail?
I'm gonna give him a pass on the thumbnail.
Giving him a pass. Okay, it's a pass-fail grade now. It's not an A- anymore. You just get a pass on this
Carl
one.
Parker asked, does the day suck worse than the thumbnail? No, the thumbnail is good. It's good. I approve. Some sniper action.
Oh shit! Where's my pen next to me like I was AJ or something? I lost it.
Dave, yeah, tell me that pillow is not here. Literally no one talked.
I got rid of it.
Literally no one talked about the show last week or last Friday because of the pillow. The only comments were the pillow.
I know, and I told them they're all on timeout when it's concerned is that pillow. Maybe I'll bring it back someday, but you guys can't keep yourself behaved. And maybe if you could, then we'll get the pillow back.
Keep yourself behaved. It's a rule. All right, guys, let's dive into it. The Alvo beta has been alive for a while now. Months, right? I mean, it's been crazy. The Alvo beta went live. Lots of people have been in it and giving feedback to Steve over there at Martin Pole, and they've been constantly updating the game and improving it. Adding new modes, adding new weapons, adding all sorts of new things. We're not here to talk about the beta, though. We're here to talk about the final version, which, again, absolutely insane that it's here. Guys, as always, let's talk about what we love about Alvo. AJ, what do you love about Alvo?
The gameplay, which is such an important thing to me, and we'll of course get deeper into this and more specific. But I absolutely love the fast-paced gameplay. Never like very little downtime. You're constantly in just you die, you respawn, you go again, and then the match ends, and then the next level loads in a minute or two, and you're right back at it again.
Oh, dude, I mean, like, yeah, you said a lot in a very short amount of time. Certain things that we had complaints about. Obviously, Firewall's a fantastic game, but it was nice to see that the Alvo devs were like, hey, we play Firewall, and we know that these certain things are an issue, and we're going to make sure we address these things in our game. So we'll talk a lot more about that. But Dave, what do you love about Alvo?
Well, AJ already said pretty much the reason we all love it, which is like you get to run fast and shoot stuff and then come right back and keep playing. So it's just pretty addictive once you get into a round. And, I don't know. The thing I think probably that I like is that you don't have to worry about host quits. You don't have to worry about hanging out in a lobby waiting to get in a game or anything like this. Like, it's very fast to start up. The game just keeps going. There's no downtime like there is in Firewall. So, like, you just get in and start playing. And if somebody leaves who was technically the host, it doesn't matter. They just leave the game, and the game keeps running. So that was everybody's big issue with Firewall, I think. You could be on a winning team or about to win the game, and somebody could just rage quit and, deprive you of your win. Huge pain in the ass kind of stuff there. So this is a much better way to do it. I really like this.
I'm really glad that we jumped in on this to start off, because something I thought was interesting today was that I jumped into a game. No one else was online yet because it was early in the day, and it was me and a bunch of bots. So, like, bots first and foremost, right? The bots fill in the place of all the players, so that way, like, while you're waiting for people to show up, while you're waiting for people to join your game, you actually do have something to do. You're running around and you're playing the game, and it's against a bunch of bots, which, maybe not the brightest bulbs in the bulb drawer. Don't think that's an expression. Nope, I'll take that one back. But at least you get to run around and practice and kind of get rid of all the cobwebs and stuff and sort of get good while you're waiting. And then what I found interesting was that one other person joined, and then so we were on opposing teams, and then another person joined my team, another person joined his team, and then all the bots were gone. And I was like, interesting. So I was just expecting there to be two full teams of bots and then people replacing them. But once there were like two on each team, it was just PvP, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in terms of gameplay, it's much more fast-paced. I am a huge Firewall fan, by the way, and this game, they've given tons of credit to Firewall about how much Firewall is what inspired them to make Alvo, or at least inspired some of the team to finish the project and really push them through. So it's not like a game versus game thing. It's more of this is better. This is actually a genre that is really surprising that there weren't more of these. More devs didn't capitalize on this, on just regular first-person shooter-based games. And this is very similar, like how Firewall is very much like Rainbow Six Siege. This is very much like Call of Duty, and I've never been the biggest Call of Duty guy, but I was there at the beginning. Call of Duty, the first one, and then I liked Black Ops a lot, and this just has that more fast-paced kind of gameplay like that.
You sucked the air out of my lungs right there, AJ, because I was just about to use that exact fucking analogy, and I was like, it's more like you can't compare them, and I was going to say the same games and everything. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Great strategy.
Great minds.
There's definitely more strategy and communication, teamwork involved. While this is just like you just go out there, you shoot stuff, you have fun.
And like Baggio 10 in the chat says, or Baggio 10, I don't know. For me personally, the spawn die gameplay is not too appealing or fun. I've never been a COD fan. I love Firewall because it's tactical. There will be plenty of people who, different strokes for different folks, as I always say around here. But I think Alvo will satisfy a lot of people. Because there are a lot of people who do like Call of Duty games and that spawn die.
I do like
thing.
I do like
and
sure.
It's closer to the old like Unreal Tournament or Quake Online shit like that, where like everything was just like lightning fast and you were jumping around and blowing up and coming back, and like that's where I grew up playing multiplayer first-person shooters with shit like that. So I do appreciate the fast-paced nature of it. Like, it's fun.
Yeah. I stayed away from online multiplayer for the longest time. Like I was just not interested at all. And then at some point, I remember having a PlayStation 3, and I went out and just purposefully, I was like, I bought the little Bluetooth earpiece, and I bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I guess. And I was like, this is going to be my multiplayer game. I have chosen this game. Here we go. It's going to be amazing. And so that is, that's sort of where I cut my teeth on online multiplayer gaming. So this kind of brings it all back home for me. I'm glad you actually brought up that comment in the chat, because I've been trying to keep an eye on the chat, and I was going to respond to that comment directly. But
we're all doing the things that the next person was about to do before they can do it.
So now
it's a fun new format. I like it. You got to come up with something that AJ's about to do next.
Right. How do I do the thing after the thing I was about to do before? It's craziness. So Sean B, just an otter Gamecast, says, wish I could have been on with you guys today, but work, unfortunately. I get it. I'm going to be getting, so my review's not up yet. The game wasn't really done until very, very recently, and so I wanted to make sure that I had like the most up-to-date maps, the most up-to-date graphics, the most up-to-date weapons, gameplay, everything in my review. And so, which means it wasn't out today like I wanted it to be, but at least it's going to be up-to-date and current. And so I'm going to be jumping on tonight after GamesCast. So anybody who's in on the beta, make sure you jump in with me, and we'll get some awesome footage for the review together.
Yeah, I'll hop in there too. It was a lot of fun last night. I'll tell chat later why I left in the negatives part, but yeah, I was having a good time until then.
The other thing about the gameplay, not just that it's fast paced, but they've done, when we first played the first build of the beta, it was really, really bare bones. And we've seen a lot of games that they basically launched Space Junkies, where that ended up to be the game. And it was really disappointing. One thing that's been nice participating in this beta has been seeing the evolution of the game, because I've said this before. I really feel like it's come a long way since the first day we played it. Everything from like balancing, from weapons, from character models. They looked horrible at first, and they look a lot better now. There was they've got the addition of like sliding now and going prone, and those are really cool mechanics. And one thing I love about that in particular is that like I said, the love has been put into the gameplay, and that's really important to me. Stuff like the sliding, it's not just run and slide. Like, you actually build up momentum running, and like the longer you run before you run out of breath, you hit the slide and you can slide for a longer distance. And it
also
lets you
downhill slopes will get you more. Yeah, you get more slide if you're going down a hill, which I noticed was really cool. Yeah, it was like
little attention to detail. That's just something I really appreciate. Something that helps it distinguish itself a little bit in terms of the gameplay. And so that's just one thing, and I can't wait to get into like the weapons, the weapon variety. There's so much to unpack here, really. There's a lot to get into.
Yeah, Seymour Gamecats, just kind of going further with what I was saying earlier about the footage, said the game looks better here in the corner of the screen than it did in the interview video. Was that old footage? So two things. First, watch the interview, because I interviewed Steve from Alvo, and he gave a lot of insight about what happened, like where the game was for the last 3-4 years. So make sure you go check that out. It was a lot of fun to talk to him, and I think he told a really great story, really insightful about what's going on over there, like what working at Martin Pole's really like. Really good stuff. And yeah, absolutely. This footage is from literally an hour ago, and you can tell the difference, which is crazy. There's just more detail. Like I think that they had to have improved so much of the texture work, because my impression of this game was like, yeah, it's kind of low res and it's like a little bit blurry, and the texture work is all kind of just like plain and boring, and there's some really strange assets everywhere, like scaling wise, and just like sort of like seemingly haphazardly placed. And all of that seems to have been adjusted, slowly but surely over the course of the last few months, to the point where I'm like, this is actually a, fairly decent looking game. And as these guys have already been talking about, the game moves pretty fast. Like, you're running around, it's not a slow paced, methodical game. You can play it however you want to, but I mean, the ability to run around, jump, slide, do all of that means you can move fast. And just to address another question from the chat, Nick Megahertz, I think, said, "How's the motion sickness with Alvo? I'm fine with Firewall, but also much faster." I don't get motion sick. I don't think any of three of us really suffer from that too much. But like, I can tell when a game is going to really affect people. And this, I don't have. I mean, this I can play for hours and it doesn't affect me at all.
The thing that would worry me is if it didn't run so goddamn smooth. Like if it had the fast pace, but it was choppy or frame rate stutter or anything like that, that would be a little nauseating, because if you're moving fast, but it's not keeping up with your inputs and your head and stuff, that's when you get sick. Luckily, and this is a big positive, is, regardless of what people might say about like, oh, the graphics aren't that polished, the fact that it can run as cleanly and as solidly and as smoothly as it does on a PS4 OG is crazy. Yeah. This thing just is like butter. Like I've never had any frame rate drops. I played it back before I got my PS5, I believe, and even then it like worked way better than the PC build I had played way before. There's just something really consistent about the performance here, and it's really well done.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Darth Vader, the Game Cat, before we get too far away from his tip. Left us $5 in the chat. Thank you so much. He said, "There are those who do love Call of Duty games." And I think Darth is absolutely one of those people. And also, as far as like the future of this game, that's I love that I love that there's roadmaps and stuff. You always see roadmaps on Discord. There's always developers talking about, oh, eventually we're going to do this game and this with our game, and we're going to do this, we're going to do this. That's great. But now on the title screen, or now at the main menu of Alvo, there are other game modes that are grayed out. Say coming soon. Zombies and Domination. Like it makes it feel. What was that?
And private matches.
In private matches. Yeah. Right, and that makes it feel more real. It's like it's one thing to say, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna do that," and put it on your Discord in a in a projected roadmap. But it's another thing to have it on your main menu, saying, "Hey, it's coming soon." Crisis Brigade. Sorry, I gave the long pause. I was hoping I'd get at least a laugh, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so there are some things that are promised on the roadmap, but I'm really more focused on like what's in there currently. I think it's really important that we explain to people what is currently in the game, what is available. And that still is a little bit tough, because even today with an update, there was a new map. There was there was a brand new map. And one thing I think is that they do that's really cool, a really good use of resources, is that they take a map and then they have a daytime, but then they also do a nighttime level. And I really think that's a good way of using all that work they put into that map and being able to get more mileage out of it. I think that was also a really good idea.
Well, and it also changes up the gameplay a little bit too, because like especially on desert, there's a lot of and we haven't talked about the verticality yet, but I know you and Steve have talked about that, Brian, in interviews and stuff. Yeah. So we'll get to it at some point. But at night, if there's a guy perched up on one of those towers, that's really hard to see until he shoots you. In the daytime, you play a little differently. You can't hide in a spot like that as easily. And that level really blows me away with how much intricacy there is in like all the little pathways and alleys and things that you can go around this fence here and come around this side. Like, you would think there'd be an invisible wall in front of half of this shit, preventing you from going through. Like, oh no, that's just an alleyway for visual effect. No, but like if you see a little space, you can squeeze through that thing, or jump over something that doesn't even look like you should be able to. Like, the terrains are pretty well designed for sure. Oh wow, tip trains.
I do like the level design, the maps in general. Like I said, they're, and Monastery, which is like, it's like this kind of snowy level. It's got the church and kind of like this stone like wall structure to it and stuff. And yeah, like that, I was really shocked how much different that map is at night. And I actually love it way more at night because it's close quarters, but then it's dark. So I was sitting there just like laying on the ground prone, and I was able to like find these new spots. And you mentioned the verticality too. But yeah, like there is like some nice levels of verticality here that you can use to your advantage. There's lots of little spots you can hide in. You can quickly run into, duck down, take out some targets, then scoot out of the way and stuff. But yeah, Monastery at night was very much different. It was very interesting to me.
Well, yeah, that's one thing that's I think the only one where it's actually different in terms of like there are ladders in the night mode to get you up on those rooftops that aren't there or weren't there originally in the daytime mode. And I think that's something I hope they kept that in. I didn't get to play it last night, that specific level, but I do remember they made a point of like, okay, this one's actually different. It's not just the same thing reskinned. There's some different mechanics.
Yeah, and if you're somebody that like jumped into the beta early on and haven't played it for a while, I'm sure there's definitely some cats out there who are in that exact situation. Man, it's like this house level that we're showing now is like twice as big as it was. There was
way more interesting.
Way more interesting, right? So not only is like the house not even half the level anymore, so you can still get up on top of the house, you can still run around the house, do all that stuff, and go into the garage underneath, whatever, that whole deal. But you can also just like go way out into the yard where there's a helicopter sitting there and a sniper tower, which is always hilarious, man. I always either see somebody climbing the ladder or I'm getting shot at from the sniper tower, and it's hilarious when I see somebody climbing the tower because I'm like, oh, I got to get you right now before you get up there. And that's kind of what AJ was talking about with the monastery. He's like, it's a lot of close quarter stuff, but I feel like every single map does a good job of being like forcing you into close quarters and then just like giving you this big wide open space on top of everything. And it's this risk reward thing where you're like, well, if I want to get where I want to go, like the sniper tower, you've got to do the thing that exposes you and puts you out in the open, and that's good level design. And so,
or you could take some extra time and use the underground tunnels and maybe run into somebody and have a one-on-one and be in danger, but you have less chance of being sighted and you're closer to the tower when you get out, right? Like there's those decisions you can make, which is really good design.
Absolutely. Real quick, Death Knight Predator with the Canadian $10 donation says, y'all better be on tonight. Steve is in. I'm definitely going to be on tonight, man. I've got my review pretty much written. I just need to capture a little bit more footage, and I want all of you cats out there to be in the footage for the review. Nihilist Ryan, the Game Feline with the $5 tip, says, gotta say, this looks way better than Onward or Pavlov as far as environments and textures go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent looking game, for sure.
There's a little bit of like shimmering and stuff, little tiny bit of blur and stuff, but it does look good. The textures look good overall, and they put a lot of work into it and stuff. And once you get going, it's like you really, I've been probably one of the biggest sticklers when it comes to like the graphics and stuff, but I really feel like again, there's been a huge difference between the early days of the beta and the final days of the beta, and especially when they change and mess with the lighting and all these different things. Graphically, I've come around on the graphics. I've like really warmed up to them, and it hasn't really affected my gameplay at all. So that's been important.
Well, yeah, and the character models have come a long way, especially like they used to look like rough, and I told him. And he fixed it like really well, like pretty quickly. Even that's been in there for a minute. Those improved character models, but definitely.
And I'm the guy that turns off. I don't know if you guys do this too in Firewall. I always turn off the anti-aliasing because I'd much rather have the shimmering stuff out in the distance than like fuzzy stuff, right? I want to be able to see. I want to be able to see the enemies more clearly. If it's just a few pixels out there, I need to see that. So like, even if this had the option to turn anti-aliasing on, I'd be playing it this way anyway. So a little bit of shimmering, is the price you pay for all that.
Yeah. And one thing again too, I don't know where you're about to take this, Brian, but I wanted to mention you guys were talking about like going up and going up into the towers, going up down low, and I just wanted to point it out, since we're still on the topic of gameplay and stuff, the weapon variety. Can we talk about the weapon variety here?
Yeah, sure.
One thing I really do like, with this is the weapon variety, and in particular, I love that there are sniper rifles. And these levels are good for sniping. That is something that I loved about the original Call of Duty. There was like Stalingrad and stuff where there was like these different levels where you'd be able to find these like little spots and stuff. And that's something I really appreciated about this, was that it does have sniping. and some good spots to pick if you're good enough, whether it be a bush, whether it be the top of a tower, top of a building. We talked about the jumping around and stuff. You'll see people hopping all over around, seeing where they can get to and stuff. And like I saw people running along walls and stuff. But the sniper rifle, when you hold it up, it's got the scope and it looks really good, man. It looks really good.
Yes.
It's really clean. I had the most satisfying kills earlier. I don't think it was you, Danorama Pajama. So don't be
Danorama
don't feel
Pajama.
bad. Yes.
Did I hear Danorama Pajama?
I was playing with him. I saw him playing earlier. I saw Mad Max playing earlier. A couple people, and we were having a good time, just blowing each other up and stuff. And
Nice.
but yeah, there was like this. There was somebody that was picking off all of our team from a window in the house level, and I was like, I'm gonna get this bastard. And like, so I went to the corner of the level and got through the sniper rifle, and I was just like, boom, and just got him. And man, was it satisfying. I love that, for those that like to use sniper rifles, that they have an option here too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very accurate. Like you said, the scopes are a big thing people have been talking about. I watched a bit of Shughead's review, and he spent a lot of time talking about how good the scopes were. I'm not really a sniper guy myself because I kind of suck with snipers. I need just something fast and close and, just hopefully get the job done. But yeah, people have been very precise and killed me a lot with those. Yeah, definitely if you're a fan of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Honor and Duty, I think, went into a flat screen. When you put the sniper rifle up to your face, it went to a 2D thing.
Hitman did that.
Hitman did that too.
That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it was like, and this just does it, and it doesn't affect the frame rate or anything, which is awesome. It feels good. It controls well. I'm very, very happy with the sniper rifles. What I totally just lost my train of thought. I apologize.
Well, that's fine. I'm a P90 guy. That's what I'll say. I like the P90. The AK is okay too, but you always got to get the laser sight.
Have you guys played with the shotgun much? That's what I was gonna say.
No, but I have been killed by it plenty of times.
So there is every time I play the new industrial level, there's always people talking about the pit. Apparently, there's a pit that everybody goes into, and they basically like make up their own mods where they're just like, okay, no one kill each other, no one shoot at each other. Everybody switch to shotguns, and we're gonna go in the pit and just use shotguns. It's like it reminds me of GoldenEye or something. And
Yeah.
I've yet to be in the pit, so I need to make sure I get some pit footage tonight too.
The pit is just that building with the green lights. It's like that empty rave building that it was supposed to be. That's all. It's just called the pit, I think.
Oh, okay.
I believe so, anyways. But I've used the shotgun. I will say with the shotgun, I don't know why, but the shotgun feels a little small to me. Like I'd like them to. Most of the guns feel great, but then you get the shotgun, and that's one of the things I noticed is the shotgun's a little small. It feels almost feels like I'm holding a giant pencil or something. So hopefully they can blow it up just a tiny bit to make it a little like heftier, make it feel a little bit better. But yeah, shotgun's great. It's just regular first person shooter kind of balancing stuff. Again, they're still going to be having tweaks. That's why it's a review in progress. But for close quarters, yeah, you can chew people apart with that shotgun for sure.
Nice. And we haven't even talked about the different game modes, but the fact is like, I mean, I feel like I've always got to start with free for all because I just got to get warmed up, and I'm like, I don't want to disappoint my team yet. I've always talked about disappointing my team. That's my issue with every single online game. It's like I don't want to go in and join a team and have them be doing good before I got there, and then suddenly I'm there and they're like, who's the new guy? Fuck this guy. He's not helping us at all. So that's why I love starting with free for all. And then eventually working my way into team deathmatch, and then once I'm feeling really warmed up, and then we can go to search and destroy, which is my favorite mode, and unfortunately the mode I've had the least experience with because it's in beta, and right now, like there until everyone gets their hands on it, there's just not like a ton of people playing it. So I can't wait to spend some time with search and destroy tonight because that is something I want to get better at. And I think the only experience I have really playing that is maybe 20 minutes this morning, and my poor team, they suffered a lot because of me, and I apologize to them.
Yeah, I always go into any team-based game with the assumption that someone will have to carry me. So I don't feel too bad when I'm not doing the best on the team. But if I can get in the middle of the pack, I'm feeling good about that usually. But some people are just already insanely good at this game. So keep an eye out for that. You will find people who just have been playing the beta forever and are ready to kick your ass the second you walk in.
I pray you don't run into them, because I was
Well-
playing with people that weren't in the well, they were in the beta, but they weren't like the experienced diehard beta people, and it was like, oh, this is so much fun. Like it felt more people like on my level, where I haven't spent every day and night playing this just yet.
Well, the nice thing
it was
about
a
the
lot of fun.
matchmaking too is you don't get stuck with the same team. Like, not that it's bad to get stuck with the same team all the time, but sometimes, if you feel bad, or like, man, that other team is full of heavy hitters and we all have noobs over here, it rotates the teams pretty constantly every match. So like, you'll probably end up with one of those good guys on your team to learn from and to help you guys stay afloat. It's rare that I see just one team that has only good people on it and the other team sucks. Like, it's usually fairly balanced.
Yeah, it was fun. I actually got stuck. There was a little bit of an issue earlier where I got stuck with a team. It was 2 versus 5. It was me and like Hobbins something, and this was when I played the monastery level. And man, it was pretty fun to go 21. Even though I broke even, it was like 21 and 21. It was nice knowing that I kind of had my back to the wall and I was still just like picking everybody apart. It was really, really fun. But yeah, there's also the AK, and on top of the weapon variety, there's shotguns, there's submachine guns, there's sniper rifles, there's the assault rifles, pistols, there's melee weapons, grenades. The grenades are so much fun because there's this ragdoll. That's one thing that I love about this, is some of the goofy stuff of seeing people blow up. Like a lot of times I'll get grenaded or something and I'll die, or there's a lot of funny moments just from getting blown up, because you get to see your body just ragdoll and go blah, and just flop over and stuff. But there's the attachments to this as well. So there's all the weapons, but then there's different scopes. There's like red dot, there's the sniper scopes, and there's all sorts of like different attachments for the weapons as well that you can unlock, which is nice, and perks.
Absolutely. Shout out to Bogey Cat Productions with the £2 saying, off topic, which we love around here, Doom 3 is a top 10 if not a top 5 game. Man, I don't know when the next top 25 list is, but I'm definitely going to be fighting for Doom 3 in, I think the higher part of the list. Maybe not top 5, probably top 10. Thank you so much for the donation.
Certainly a top 10 price, that's for sure.
Top 10 price.
Yeah, value.
100% agree with that. Where else do we need to go with this before we move into the part of the conversation that people don't want to hear?
So we covered, there's good maps. They're solid maps. Some I like more than others. I don't love every single one, but I like most of them. Some I really, really love. And we covered the weapon variety. There's shotguns, everything. I love sniper rifles. I think sniper rifle is something that makes this game kind of unique.
Yeah, I'll buzz you in. Thank you.
Is that your mustard?
It's my mustard, if you can believe that. It's my mustard. I wouldn't have answered the phone, but it's my mustard. It's very important that I've let.
Can we get a live unboxing? Live mustard unboxing?
Go get your mustard.
No. I hopefully he made it into the building. I think I just buzzed him.
It does support. It supports the aim, DualShock, and moves. I'm a fan of the aim controller myself. We covered it. The models, the character models. They even added like a female player, which I think is great. I love diverse characters and everything. Something for everybody,
It's definitely something for everybody. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. A lot of people are going to be jumping into this. And the fact is, I'm so happy that we have so many positive things to say about this game, because do you know the number of comments I've gotten on the Warzone review from people who've just been like, "Oh, I should have watched your review before I bought this."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the fact is like, if you buy this without like, if people are buying this because they're like, "Oh, it's a modern military shooter," because people just fucking love the genre, right? And the people are just dying for a new one. If people buy it without even watching a review, at least they're getting a fun game. Right, so I'm just really, really happy that that's the case. That we can actually say yes, it's a fun game, despite any negatives that we're about to bring up. It's gonna be fun, and you're gonna enjoy it. But I do think we need to. Dive into some of that stuff. Chris Taylor with the 20 I mean, Mixelplex. I mean,
Mexican
it's got to be
dollars?
Mr.
Where you at,
Mixelplex.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris Taylor, who actually got a shout out on today's interview with Steve. He writes, "Any Alvo news?" Which is
Yes, just a bit.
yeah.
There's a lot of big props to a lot of the beta testers, diehard, like Chris and Herb. Some of our game cats for sure helped out a lot. But yeah, just regular, just good old fashioned first person shooter, competitive multiplayer. Good variety of maps, good variety of weapons, good variety of characters and unlocks and stuff. So
But bots that keep you from having to wait around in lobbies, right? Get you right into the game. No waiting around. Just it's everything's very fast. If you want you want to get into a game, you're going to get into a game. Even if you're playing by yourself, you get to run around and shoot bots until other people join it. These are all the good things.
And actually, I wanted to call out one comment before we get into this negative stuff real quick, while we're on the positive note. Darth Vader, the Game Cat in chat, seems a little unconvinced here, and he says, if there's so much stuff planned, why isn't that shit in at launch? And I think that's a little bit of an unfair question. I mean, imagine Firewall, how many more maps they have now, how many more contractors and weapons and all this different variation that they didn't have at launch. That makes it a much better game than it was when it came out. And I could think of, Swordsman, obviously. Why isn't Dismemberment in at launch? He needed time to work on it, but it's worth supporting people while they take that time.
It's a slippery slope, because there are some games, I agree with you. There are some games that can get away with, I mean, we are judging this by what it is launching with.
Yes.
We're not going to be concerned with what somebody promises. If those things make it in, great, but I don't pay money for promises when I buy a game. I pay money for what is currently in the game.
Exactly.
So I think all that other stuff is great, but no, we're talking about just the regular base game. And it already, when it comes to Firewall, people want a dedicated server so that they wouldn't get cut out. They didn't like the wait times and stuff. This alleviates a lot of those things. There is a player base here for this that wants this. So we're going to get to the negatives here in a second, though. So because there are definitely negatives to address.
Also, keep in mind that the alternative to what's happening, to releasing without all the content that's been announced, is releasing in 6 months from now, right? It's that's the alternative, and I don't think people want to wait anymore. People have been waiting for a really long time, and they want to jump in now. They want to get their Alvo legs and be there for the updates. I think a game that updates. I think a game that updates as you go.
I had to clear my throat, man. I'm sorry. I usually mute myself.
I think it's exciting for people to be there when the updates go live, being like, oh, I've been there since day one, and look what it is now, and look at we did the exact same thing for Swordsman. It's almost more exciting because we already loved the game, and now there's more to love. You Stay Frosty with the $5 tip says, hey, I think I fixed it.
Nice.
Nice job, bro.
All right, guys, in the chat, Virtual Strangers said a while back, this game looks very good, but for $40, I'd like a story campaign to go along with my versus multiplayer. People keep citing Call of Duty as the traditional standard, but Call of Duty has a story campaign.
Call of Duty also has the biggest budget in the industry. Just gonna throw that out there.
There is one thing I hate about Alvo, absolutely hate, and it is that $40 price tag.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate that price. That is for VR. That is usually it's just ad nauseum have explained this over and over and over, that it's usually $10-$20 for an indie game, $30 you get around the AA game, and then $40 we get AAA quality VR games for $40. And this is not a AAA game.
Right.
It's not a bad. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. But I feel like the price, considering that this was supposed to be such a great thing, this was a community-driven game, I really think, and it requires a player base to keep this game going. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's $40 puts it out of reach for a lot of people that want to play the game, and that's really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, $30 is always what I would say is kind of the price point that I saw is the maximum for just to get people in the door. It's not that it's not fun, for $40, or I won't play enough of it to get my money's worth, because I've spent $40 on games that I've spent way less time in and had less fun with than this one. But at the same time, you need lobbies. You need lobbies full. You got to get people in the door, and like people will. I hear all over the place people saying, "Oh my god, $40! Like for real? Come on!" But the 30 launch discount, like we've said before, if you're going to get this game, if you're excited, just get it now. Just get on the ground floor, get the $30 price point. We'll have the lobbies.
Well, that's the good news. The good news is that it has a launch discount that takes it $10 off, and $30.
Yeah.
$30 is still to me like, but it's justifiable. You can justify it's still like if this game relies on having a player base, like 25 something, but I'm not going to argue over $5 difference. Like right. There's enough there to justify, and I understand they need to make their money back as well. They've worked long and hard on this game, and the way that this game started out, we saw the original reveal footage and what it looks like now. Between that beginning, like they've delivered on a lot of the stuff that they promised. So I'm okay with spending the $30. But that's like the maximum. That's the maximum I would want to pay for this. Anything else, you have to start really expecting every single thing to be top notch. And again, I'm not going to pay for something with the promise right. of the future. I want to pay what I want to pay, and I want it like to be there. I've always hated the model of it's going to be more because you're going to get more content in the future. That has never worked out for a single developer that has done that approach.
I don't know about that, but
right, but very very infrequently for sure. Three in the chat says $40 out of reach. You're inside the game. That's quite the defense of VR as a whole, my friend. It's like there's so many. There are plenty of games that are certainly not worth a $40 price tag. All VR games, you're inside the game. You don't get to just charge an arm and a leg because it's a VR game. It's the fact is like we've played, I think the three of us have played over 500 PlayStation VR games. And so we know our pricing structures. We understand when a game is worth a certain amount of money. I think Alvo is a really fun game. But yeah, I am struggling with the $40 price point. Luckily, we don't have to pay $40. It's $30 at launch for the first 2 weeks. And like, again, that is about the maximum. And I really hope that people who don't get in the first 2 weeks, I hope it doesn't deter sales. Because we want Alvo to do well, despite the fact that we don't agree with the price point, period. So we'll see how that all works out. Guys, we've got a few comments in the chat. Yeah, let's take care of the first one here from Darth Vader, the Game Cat. $2 tip says grabs popcorn and reads comments.
Good time to get your popcorn.
Nice. You instigated a fight, Vader. And he's like, I'm gonna troll a little bit, and then I'm gonna like watch and see what happens. Nom, 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 nom,
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Chris Taylor with the 50 Mr. Mixoplexes says, how are we supposed to have good things in VR if people are not willing to pay? Same people that complain about experiences in small games. Shake my head. Yeah, man, it's we are absolutely willing to pay. It's just willing to pay the right price is the correct answer. I just don't think that any developer can come along and say, we're just going to charge $70 for our game, and you should pay it because you should support developers. That's anti-consumer, and we are definitely pro-consumer, and we want to make sure that people are getting the game they deserve for their dollars. I get it, man. Like people are fucking hardcore about Alvo, but that's a small percentage of the gaming population, the small percentage of the PSVR gamers. And you got to remember also, PSVR gamers have moved on. We're in a tough spot right now, man. It's like a lot of people have moved on to Quest. A lot of people have moved on to PC VR. A lot of people have put their PSVR into the closet and are not taking it back out for Alvo. And so in a $20 price point, might convince some of those people to come back from Quest, come back from PC and say, oh man, this game is not on my hardware yet. Or I can pull this thing out of my closet for $20. Yeah, I'll definitely jump into this thing. And then they go $40. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm not going to get back into VR for this. So it's really a delicate balance, and I can understand people who are passionate about it, but I also understand people who are very, very price conscious.
Yeah, and I think a lot of we see on the other side of most people. I think most consumers out there who haven't played the beta, who are just interested in this game, excited about it, are kind of the same mindset of like 40 is too much, 30 is just okay, but I would have preferred 30 as the base price.
Right.
But people who've been involved in the beta seem to almost universally be like, oh no, bro, you could charge $60 for this. It's great. I would pay way more than 40 for this. And I get the excitement. I get that you've got a lot out of it so far and you feel invested in this product and stuff.
And you
but
should.
Like,
absolutely.
But as a person selling a game in a marketplace, you can't listen to only your most fervent supporters. And I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus or anything, but I think that there's a little bit of a bubble there of like what you guys think is reasonable to pay and what somebody off the street thinks is reasonable to pay. And if I'm scrolling through the PSN store and that game costs $60 and I watch a trailer, I would say, nah, I'll wait for a sale, like a deep sale. Just
again,
saying.
I'm so glad it has the launch discount, because personally I feel like the best time to get it. But see, that's the thing, when I pay $40 for something, I want it to be finished, I want it to be polished, I want it to be everything. This game has come a long way, but there's still some content to be had. There's still some things to be done. And at that, once it has that stuff, then I'm like, okay, maybe the $40, if it actually gets all the bells and whistles, the final polish, the extra modes, the extra content, stuff like that, maybe at that point I'll be happy with it. I think long term it could be okay, but at first, it still needs, like, they're still kind of like working on it a little bit. I mean, they definitely pushed this game out in the without parole with duct tape and and stuff, which is great, but also, like, you have to adjust it a little bit. But yeah.
Continuing the conversation, Donatello the Scientist Game Cat in the chat with a $10 tip. Thank you, sir. He says, if Alvo is successful, I think it will be, do they set a new price point for PSVR games moving forward, or will pricing be all over the place like now? I do want to say that I think we keep saying, that $40 is the AAA price tag for PSVR games. And I think it's not a stretch to say we've been very fortunate in that regard. Whereas the rest of the world is moving on to $70 games, we're sitting pretty at $40 price for most of our higher end games. So eventually I think that, we're going to get to a point, especially with PSVR 2, that the pricing structure starts to reflect more traditional gaming. And I don't think $40 is going to be the high end anymore. I think we're going to start to see more $60 games, possibly $70 games, if we're going to see them day and date with the flat screen stuff. It's all very possible that our little pricing structure bubble is about to blow up. So maybe.
Well, yeah, and I mean, but there's already a precedent out there for like indie games, on online marketplaces, where a lot of stuff that is hyped that's coming out is $25 or $30 or $20 or even $15. Like on Switch, there's plenty of games that come out that are pretty cheap compared to a modern AAA PS5 game that still are really well reviewed, really highly acclaimed. So like I think we'll still see that divide in VR. Like not every game is going to be $70. There'll still be $30 games. There'll still be $20 games out there.
Right.
And hopefully reflecting the content,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There are some games out there that are $70. That doesn't mean that they're doing well, that they're all just selling well, or that they, that's why stuff like Bugsnax was a free PS Plus game. Oddworld Soulstorm, Destruction All Stars. There's some things that are, it's just getting really competitive. There's a lot of video games. There's a lot of options, and you want to really make yourself stick out everywhere possible. And I've always asked developers, do you want to sell a lot more at a slightly lower price, or or is it better to sell less at a higher price? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen. And it's, we don't know whether or not this price point is going to pay off or not yet. We don't know. We have to wait and see, and we'll know within a couple of months to see if, they could potentially crush it. Everybody buys it. Everybody loves it. And everybody's happy. They are happy, the developers. So this is an unknown at this moment. But like I said, but there's whenever you guys are ready, there are definitely other things to.
I wanted to move on from price. But last thing on that real quick is I hope, against hope, that people who are interested and can get this at the $30 price point will get it and play it, because if what I'm hearing is from everybody in the beta, they would pay any price for this. They are buying it immediately. And if I was a guy off the street and I buy it, and I'm one of the few that actually took the plunge, then the only people I'm getting lobbied up with are people who are already really familiar with the game and are just going to make it a little less fun for me. If there's more of a new influx of players, I think people will have a better initial experience, because you're not just playing against guys who've been playing it for 4 months.
Yeah.
And so I really hope that like some new players get in here, because that would really, help liven up the player base and just make it a little less intense to wander into, because everyone's had that experience of some game you want to play that's multiplayer online. You walk in and everybody's just way better than you, and it's not even worth it. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Finally, Hugh Guyver with the Australian $5 says, pizza, 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 money, 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 PSVR without parole, lightning, lightning, lightning. I love it. Thank you very much for the support, Hugh Guyver. Say hi to Cousin Mac for us. Lots of great comments in the chat about the price. People going back and forth. It's all we're trying to do here is tell you is give our impressions. You're all going to have your own impressions of what you think is the correct price and what's worthwhile. But it's here. The thing is that we haven't really gotten into the other things, our actual other complaints about this game. That sort of.
To me, the price is the most controversial hot topic one of the game.
Yes, absolutely.
But people will vote with their wallets, so we'll find out.
Yeah, absolutely. If everything was perfect, the game was complete, everything done. But let's talk about some of these things that sort of tell us why the price might not be justified. What don't we like about Alvo other than the price?
Let's see. So the bad experience I had last night, which was kind of due to low player base, we were in the beta and all that stuff, but could continue to be an issue if there isn't a player base there. We tried to play Search and Destroy, and it put us in a 1v1 match of Search and Destroy. It's not fun at all.
While we waited for people to show up. Yeah.
And so what happened eventually is that Brian got a teammate who was a really high-level dude who had been sniping my ass for all the multiplayer matches, and I still didn't have a teammate. So then it was a 2-on-1 in Search and Destroy with Brian and this other really good guy who were just destroying me. And it wasn't really worth playing enough to stick around and wait. If they had thrown me a bot, at least, I would have been very happy with it, but I didn't even get a bot. So if the lobbies aren't there, the game will put you in gameplay scenarios to get a game going that aren't actually fun to play. Like unbalanced teams, like you said you were in a 5-on-2, even though you guys held your own, it should have balanced it to a 3-on-3 instead of a 5-on-2 or closer to that, 3-on-4, something like that. So occasionally there's those balancing matchmaking issues that seem funky, where you'll be on a lopsided team where it's just not that fun to play. So hopefully if there's a bunch of people in there, that won't be an issue. But, we've seen games like this before where certain modes just die because there aren't people playing them. And like you said, Search and Destroy is the most interesting one probably for a lot of people. So I hope that one takes off.
Yeah, that mode is exactly like Counter-Strike, and I'm a huge fan of Counter-Strike. And that's actually a mode that I haven't really dived deep into yet because it's beta. So I'm not going to give it a hard time. I'm sure there'll be enough people playing once the real game kicks off. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but I played Space Junkies on launch day, and nobody was in any lobby anywhere. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I don't think they're going to have that same issue. I actually think they are going to do pretty well at launch, and I think there is going to be a player base, and I think that's going to get more people raving about it and stuff and playing, and it's just it's a popular genre. Like I said, it's a popular genre that I'm just quite frankly surprised there hasn't been more by this point.
It's crazy because so many have been announced. So many games have been announced in this genre for PSVR, and we've gotten none of them. None of them. Steve mentioned a bunch of them during the interview, and I was like, yeah, he's bringing these things up, and I was like, yeah, what the fuck, man? Zero Killed. I remember when that was supposed to be a thing. It was previously called Special Forces VR, and then there's another game called Special Forces VR. That's why they had to change their name. That never came to PSVR. I mean, it's pretty much an endless list of stuff that we never got, and even stuff on PC VR and stuff. It's eventually going to make its way here, maybe on PC VR. I mean, on PlayStation VR too, but we'll see.
It's funny they changed their name to Zero Killed when Zero Caliber is also supposed to be coming. That's going to be confusing.
Yeah, another one, right? It's pretty crazy. So one of the things I was playing. Strangely enough, I was playing with S. Doran today. You guys know S. Doran from
Dreams.
From Dreams, absolutely.
He made those cool driving games.
Tectonic, right?
Tectonic.
And Bionic Revolution.
Bionic Revolution. So I was playing with him this morning. We were we were the only ones up at that time, I guess, at 7 a.m. And we were just talking about everything. He was playing with the moves and was saying that it really wasn't his bag. He's saying that the moves were not traditional. They don't work like traditional move controls. And so I'm definitely diving in and playing with the moves tonight. They have not yet implemented the dual wielding, so you don't just have two hands. It's sort of like a sort of hybrid. like one of the aims is basically like very much one of the moves is very much like an aim controller, and it kind of works like that. So I'm very, very, very interested in checking that out and in making sure that I have that detailed for the review, because although they're going to change it, it hasn't been changed yet. So I'm really interested to see how it plays.
Well, I know there are some people who do like it. Mick Coles is always commenting about like mean moves Mick, or he's got some name for him. His like he called him his like dollar store dildos or something. I don't know who's called him, but he seems to be very confident about his move performance. So I think maybe if you stick with it, just like, I hate the move support in Doom VFR, but Brian, you're one of those people who's like, actually, I stuck with it and I love it. It's my favorite way to play. So, different strokes for different folks. I'm going to try and say that as much as I can.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. When it comes to move support, you typically, it's VR, right? What's the advantage VR has versus non-VR gaming? And that's immersion. And usually that means more interaction, more interactivity with the controllers and stuff. And they have said on the roadmap that they do plan on doing stuff. I appreciate the fact that it has move support, but really it's just like basic controls. There's no, loading the guns and stuff. And it makes sense. You're going to get your ass kicked if you're having to do all that stuff. So it doesn't make the most sense versus a game like Zero Caliber, where it's all about loading in the gun and having that satisfaction of doing all that stuff. This isn't necessarily going to be this is more of a limitation of the move controllers, I think, than it is Alvo's fault, because it's just people. You don't want people fumbling the controls while they're trying to compete in a competitive space. You want it to be as free flow as possible, and that's why the aim controller. I've played with the DualShock as well, and it's good, but it's like, this is an aim controller game, in my opinion. Like, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, and like the thing is, you can still easily get killed while you're reloading, even with a button press. Like, I get killed in Population 1 while I'm manually reloading pretty often, and that's frustrating. But I've gotten killed in Alvo while I'm pressing the square button anyways, just the same. And, I find in the heat of the battle, that kind of like immersion stuff doesn't really matter that much. I'd rather run and gun and keep running and gunning with my aim controller than have to reach something out and go.
I would like all that stuff, but this is just not designed for it. It's designed for fast-paced run and gun, like you said.
Yeah, that would fit Firewall better than it would fit this game, because Firewall is tactical. Firewall that would be awesome if it had a thing like that where you did have to actually pull a clip out and put it in, because that would benefit the gameplay. In this one, I don't think it would benefit the gameplay. I think it would hinder the fast pace. And so I'm totally fine with just the simple button to reload kind of deal.
Sorry, man. Real quick, just want to give a shout out to future Scott Jessico, PSN Harry Feld, PSVR Game Cap for Life with the £2 donation, saying 69 likes. Nice. Watch when I get home. We'll see you. We'll see you in the future, Scott Jessico.
Nobody else clicked like on this, and if you already did and it's above, unlike it.
Hey.
Like I said,
you don't get paid based on likes, man.
Keep that nonsense on your own channel. Everybody click like, God damn it.
My complaints are all like really little things. Besides the price, the price is the biggest complaint. The $40 price, the $30 makes it better for me. It eases my mind from exploding right there. But to me, it's all a bunch of little things. Like, there's just, it's still kind of. It still just needs more polish and stuff at the end of the day. Like, it has come a long way from the start. So tons of credit there. Want to absolutely give them the recognition they deserve, how far this game has come in terms of, like, when we played the original beta, which was like very basic. So really, really satisfied with the progress. It looks like they really can deliver on everything that they say they will, and it really does seem like it has a promising future. But right now, in terms of the beta, what I've played, it's just a bunch of little just kinks that need to be ironed out. Kinks and polish is really my only little complaints that I have around this game. Stuff, like I said, like the shotgun feeling like really thin, and like your hands seem smaller than like they are for other guns. Stuff like some of the balancing sometimes seems a little off, where earlier today I was playing and it was like 2 of us versus 5, and it was like it should have balanced out to be like 3 versus 3 or
Did
whatever.
You hear me? Do you listen to me talk, AJ? I said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
The same words came out of my mouth.
Search and destroy. I'm talking about my little complaints.
No, I was talking about your complaint. Anyways, it's fine.
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize you were talking about me, but yeah, it's all just little bunch of little here and there things that I have that are my complaints about it. And but But overall, like I've been having a blast with it. I can't wait to play it some more. I'm really enjoying this one, guys.
Okay.
I think one thing that I can agree with people who are saying not enough content to justify price, and it's not about the thing that most people are talking about, which is number of modes, number of levels, number of guns or anything. It's more about the progression.
Yes.
And this is one thing we should touch on.
Yes.
A big reason of why Firewall kept people coming back every night was because it took forever to hit level 50, and there was so much grinding to get there, but there were rewards along the way. Yeah, and each season they would add new rewards and stuff to keep people back, keep people interested. Now, I'm sure they will add more stuff to keep people coming back to it, like zombies mode and all the stuff we've heard about. But if you can, upgrade everything you need to within the first couple days, which seems like kind of the case here, there's not that many available upgrades to get.
Right.
And you get money pretty often and a decent amount of it. So I think that you can kind of get through and get everything unlocked in the first week, probably. And that is almost like a negative, because that's a loop that keeps people coming back, like something else to do, some other challenge, some reward. And this doesn't have as much of that. So I think that's one key missing part of the loop for keeping people engaged.
Yeah, this was absolutely going to be my final talking point about the negative stuff was the progression system. That is why I played Firewall so much, because it was like, oh man, if I just play another hour tonight, I can finally get to that next rank that I wanted to get, and then I can finally unlock the signal jammer. Yes, it's like everyone I was playing with had signal jammers, and then I didn't, and it was like, oh man, I feel like a fucking shit show over here on my team because I'm the one guy that doesn't have a signal jammer. I was like, I need to get caught up to the rest of them and get there, right? And so, and there's no carrot dangling on the end of any sticks in this game, which ultimately, and this is going to sound maybe worse than it is, but right now it makes the game feel too shallow. It makes me feel like I jumped in, I played for 20 minutes, and I got nothing out of it except for fun. It was fun, but I want to constantly be doing something, constantly be making progress. And I know people have made fun of me before, being like, progression's overrated in games. I talked about it in Iron Man, and but I don't. But that's what I love in video games. I love checking off boxes. I love raising levels. I love getting progressing through a game. I love making progress, and that doesn't exist in this game yet.
So I know, Dave. Let me chime in real quick though. But I want to be able to earn some of these weapons. I want to. It's you guys are. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Dave, because that I could not agree with both of you more. It was working towards unlocking these things in the game that changed the strategy, that changed the gameplay and stuff in it, and it's just so satisfying to unlock it. And to me, I'd even go as far as wanting to have to unlock the sniper rifle before I can use it, wanting to having to unlock the attachments and stuff that enhance your experience and stuff. So that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, and so real quick before I get to this comment, actually, Imzadi in the chat says, "Why can fun just not be enough?" And so in some ways I understand that. Why isn't just having fun good enough? But for a game like this that needs to maintain a player base to be fun, that's something you've got to be concerned about. You got to keep an eye on that, because
people coming back.
Yeah, and the thing that people don't talk about much with video games is we always talk about how fun something is, but psychologically speaking, I think people a lot of the time enjoy the work part of video games. It's another way to feel like you've completed something. People who are platinum hunters and stuff like that, it's a job. You got a list of tasks and you got to go through and check them off. And it's like going to work as much as it is having fun. But people are really drawn in by that. That actually works really well to keep people engaged. And so if a game is missing that, it's just worth noting, I think. But we do have a tip from...
Well, wait. Let's get
Sin first.
Let's just get there in a second. I just want to say that, obviously we sit here and we're like, well, this is what concerns us. And then we tell you what concerns us and how that impacts us positively or negatively when we play a game. Anxiety just made it seem very clear that he doesn't care about progression in games. He just wants to have fun, and that's it. Albeit a shallow experience where he's not making any progress. It's that's going to be more acceptable for him. But hopefully we're doing our job up here in telling you guys the experience, so you can decide whether the things that bother us are also going to bother you. And I think that Imzadi just proved that that's not going to bother him. Real quick, Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat, rare with a $5 tip, says, always glad to help support you guys. Thanks for another great show. Thank you so much for the help. Sin Studio with the Canadian $20 tip says, meow in the heart. Alec.
Release the Kraken!
Release the Kraken!
How's it going?
Hell yeah, man. Sin Studio. Hey, that's top 5 downloaded PSVR game up there with Super Hot, Job Simulator, and Beat Saber. Sin Studio. Bro.
Yeah, it's been on the list.
I didn't. Sorry,
now, right?
Imzadi's been here for fucking years, and I didn't know she's a girl. I apologize. I said he over and over. My bad.
I probably said he too. I might have. Sorry, Imzadi.
Yeah, dude. You should have known already about what AJ just said about Swordsman VR if you follow him on Twitter. If you didn't know, then you don't follow AJ on Twitter. Just follow AJ on Twitter. And then the next tip comes to us from Black Kid Beck. All right, well there's a name for you. It's Canadian $5. Says, I'm a dev on Alvo, which, by the way, anyone could actually say. But I do have a feeling he's actually a dev on Alvo. Anyway,
I'm a dev on Alvo.
I'm also a dev on Alvo.
I'm Spartacus.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
My uncle works at Alvo.
No, he says, I'm a dev on Alvo. New progression coming in at launch week that is like Firewall. And this is what we're so thrilled about to hear, is that the game's coming out, and there's, very, very shortly we're going to be seeing major improvements, things that like really are addressing our biggest concerns. So that's really exciting. Thank you so much for that information. And I know that Steve and the Martin Pool team, they do have an awesome plan for the future, awesome roadmap. It's posted on their Discord, so make sure if you're interested in keeping up with the Alvo team and seeing what they've got planned, join their Discord. Holy shit, guys. I know we just talked a lot about Alvo, but now I want to go play Alvo.
Yeah. I still want to. Can we do a final thoughts? We did the positives. We did the positives. We did the negatives. Can we do like a summarize everybody's thoughts here so we can end it on like a clear message?
Mm-hmm.
What we have.
Yes.
Yeah,
man, take it away.
I'll be right back.
Overall, guys, watching this game come from its beginning to where it is now, it has come a long way. It seems to be delivering on what it is promising, which is a fun, fast-paced, aim support controlled first-person shooter that's similar in the vein of like Call of Duty or something. There's no downtime while playing. You don't have to wait. This is something people have been begging for. It is a modern military shooter, which is also really nice. Graphically, it looks solid, and they continue to improve it. I love the character models and stuff. By the way, when we were talking about progression, I was like, I want to be able to unlock character costumes too. That's something that makes you want to work so that you can be the goofy looking person on the battlefield. But you have to earn it. But I love the gameplay. I love the gameplay variety. The sniper rifle feels so good. But I typically use the AK-47 with the red dot sight and stuff. But love the maps, love the gameplay. The sliding was a nice addition, and I'm overall really excited to jump in. As long as it has a player base, this is going to be a really, really fun and special game.
Well, so we might get a little bit more of a player base here, and we might have to decide if we want to go in the beta or in the real game, because it apparently is out in the UK as of 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
Nice.
So
it's a midnight release?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. People have been saying midnight.
Dude,
so,
everything's a midnight release now. Every single night at midnight, PlayStation drops like 7 more games on the store just fucking randomly. It's like I don't think there are any more like 11 a.m. releases like there used to be. I think it's just, here you go, every night at midnight, more stuff. But yeah, it is a midnight release. And I do think that the beta is still, I think it is, it does crossover. People who play the full game are playing with people.
Oh, we can. Oh, really? Okay, in that case, yeah, let's do it.
So yes, just to follow up with what AJ was saying, kind of final thoughts here. I am totally with AJ. This, we started off. We played this thing on day 1 in beta, and I was one of those people that was like, it's not there yet. Like this, I'm very nervous for this game.
You should have seen the PC beta, man. I was like, I played that way before the PSVR one, and I was like, oh, no way.
Sorry, Brian, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's all good, and it's like I'm just really much happier with the way this game is now. Obviously there's 5 maps, which again, these things do add up to be issues, but knowing full well that all this stuff is also going to be rectified, I'm very excited to continually watch the progression of this game and see what they add, and just make it better and better and better. This is the next Swordsman, as far as I'm concerned. Swordsman started off and it was like, oh, okay, this is fine, this is interesting, this is kind of cool, kind of fun, and it's just like every single day it got better, and I really do think that every single day Alvo is going to get better, and it's in the most important thing, as we've said numerous times throughout the course of the show, is that it's fun. And the player base is what makes it fun. There's been a lot of great players, a lot of people who've taken me under their wing and been like, oh, don't worry, we're going to get through this. Don't worry about how many times you drag our team down. We're going to have fun. And I was like, we did have fun so many times. And we're going to have a whole lot more fun tonight. But Dave, do you want to close it out with your final thoughts?
Oh, put me on the spot, sure. Okay.
You're the last one left. You didn't see it coming?
No, I did see it coming. It's okay. But let's see. I want to tie this comment in. Better than Firewall or just different?
I was afraid of that.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. My final wrap up here is it's different. It's very different. Yeah. Different people will enjoy this than enjoyed Firewall. A lot of the same people will enjoy it. There's a big Venn diagram overlap in the middle here where everyone will like it. Yeah. And I think we've gone through most of our concerns are just around the price point. But, if you get in on the PS Plus discount for $30, I'm confident that people won't feel gypped or, like that was a bad price point. And as long as you guys get in there, it's going to be a fun game, to play. If the lobbies are full, this is something worth playing, especially if you have an aim controller. Definitely if you have an aim controller. But if you like fast-paced shooters, this is going to be up your alley. Still rough edges and stuff to work out, but I think your Sin Studio, the Swordsman thing was a good comparison, Brian, because that's a thing in the past where we weren't sure. We were like, I don't know, man. Mm-hmm. And then we got it, and it was good, and it just keeps getting better, surpassing our expectations. And I feel like with Alvo, we were very hesitant to get excited for a while because this thing came from the dead. We didn't think it would ever be released, and then it seemed a little rough. But it's got there. This is a game worth playing. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
100%. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us during our, review in progress. I'm going to have my full review done for the morning. It's basically all written. Like I said, I just want to go in tonight and get a bunch of great footage, a lot of all the different weapons, use all the different control schemes, and make sure that I know exactly every single detail of this game before I pass on the final word to you guys. So thank you all very, very much for being here, and hopefully we'll see you online tonight.
Congrats, Alvo, on finally releasing this game. I know you guys are nervous. Just hang in there. There's growing pains. We have growing pains from just changing GAMESCAST. And everything. We make changes, so we can only imagine. We know you guys are gonna have some growing pains, but hang in there, man. It's a lot of fun so far. We think people are gonna really like it, man. So that's all I want to say.
And I hope to see all you UK folks out there when we hop in, right after this, because I'm ready to go. I think my aim is charged.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to have just a little bit of food. It's gonna be 20 minutes or so before I'm able to jump in. I should probably just say 8 to be safe because I'm always later than I expect to be. Real quick shout out to Benny Vici. Why do I even talk? You fucking nailed that shit. With the 5 quid says great comment, balanced and fair. I don't think people do this anymore. I think that's not right. It's it's okay. It's not okay anymore. You guys are fucking awesome. This was another episode of PSVR Gamescast Live. Remember, join the Discord in the description. That is where we hang out 24/7. That's where this conversation, I'm sure, will continue over the course of the next week. But of course, it's also going to continue on Gamescast Live on Wednesday at 6 p.m. and then again on Friday at 6 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come back here and hang out with us. That's it.
Oh, wait, show us the mustard. Show us the mustard.
I can't. It's probably it's probably 17 floors down in the lobby. I'm not going to have time.
I thought he would leave it at your door. Right.
You want to cue the cat?
Cue the cat, Brian.
We're going to cue the cat. There you go.
Cue the cat, because I want to say goodbye to Geiston. Fist bump to you. Please don't hurt me too bad enough. Time to play. Thank you. See ya. Danorama Pajama, the lazy game.
Danorama Pajama. Did you see? Somebody say Danorama Pajama? Danorama Pajama. Danorama Pajama. Danorama Pajama. Dan Kiefer, the game cat in the chat. Steve, IRE, Nihilist Ryan, the game feline. Chair face. I love that name. Imdadi, thank you so much.
Techno Glitch, Hack the Game Cat. I knew it was lit up in here. Black Kid Back, thank you so much. Great job on the game, man. Good luck in the future. Hope to see that progressive system work out. Meow Meow, the Gamer Cat, my dude. Tips Game Nation, Moose, Benny Vici.
Who's over to buy? It's me, Mario.
I love, man, that Kraken level is so good. PS5 4K gameplay. Great Tantrum JB, your identity is sacred. Secret with me, safe with me. Hero MC, Elijah, Elijah Tangs, Idleman, Albert Lugo, Sean B, Justin Utter, Game Cat, Sci-Fi Game Cat, Henry, Alvo VR. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you on the battlefield soon. Raj Moore, 1357, Delirium Drew VR, Taunt 760, Darth Vader the Game Cat. You stay frosty. J Meow 3, Johnny Rap Out the Stray Cat, V the Game Cat. I think that's it, guys.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
That was all 254 of them. Damn, good job, AJ. That was fast. That was fast.
All right, I guess we should end the stream. All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. We love you all.